Good evening, children. Good evening,
Good
Danya,
evening, ma'am.
Tanishka, Arjun, and Srijana.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Children, which is the last one we did? In statistics? I want one of you to tell me the last sum we completed.
Ma'am, third sum you gave homework, ma'am. We should start from fourth sum.
Okay, fine. So you made the frequency table for the third one? Have you completed the homework, children? No, is it? Okay, fine. So for the third one, what is the range? Range is equal to maximum value minus the minimum value. So I remember somebody's mic is enabled. Please disable your mic. $98 is the range. And in the question, the instruction is to form a frequency distribution with class size 10. Class size 10. And you can see that the lowest value is 114. The lowest value is 114. So you can start from 114. 114 to 124, the first class interval. Then 124 to 134. 134 to 144. 144 to 154. Like this, we have to go on till we create a class interval to include the biggest value, 212. So 154 to 164, 164 to 174, 174 to 184, 184 to 194, 194 to 204, 204 to 214. And the frequencies are, for the first class interval, the frequency is 14. You will have to show the tally marks. You will have to show the second column, which is the tally marks. Once you make the tally marks, the frequency will be 4 for the first class interval, 2 for the second class interval, 3 for the third one, 3 again, 1, 2, 5, 3, 3, 4, and that will total to 30. You can take a screenshot, children, and complete this later. Don't just copy it. You should make the tally marks. Take a screenshot. If you have not finished this is the answer for the third one. Read out the values in the third one, children. The values in the raw data. 144, 184, that one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the answer to that question. 144, 184, 130, 195, and so on. So this is the answer to that question. Okay, Tanishka, tell me the numbers in the fourth one. Take a screenshot, children. Complete this answer.
Taken, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, the fourth one are the values like this: 40, 40, 12, 46, 37, 17. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Fine. So you will have to arrange them in the ascending order. Do that, children. Arrange the numbers in the ascending order. Okay, let's ignore that. No, you know how to do it. You know how to arrange the numbers in the ascending order. Let's do it and present it as a grouped data. first in the exclusive form and then also in the inclusive form. Okay, so we need to always find the range. Even if it is not asked, we need to always find the range. What is the range? Maximum value minus the minimum value. Minus minimum value. Tell me the maximum value in this data, children.
46.
40. I can see 48. I think 48 is the highest value. Minus what's the minimum value? 1. I don't see. Yeah, 1. I don't see 0. So it's 1. So which is 47. So now the first one, class intervals in the exclusive form. Class intervals in the exclusive form. Exclusive meaning continuous class intervals. Continuous class intervals. So the minimum value is 1. You can start with 0. You can say 0 to 10, 10 to 20, or you can even start from 1, 1 to 11, 11 to 21. See, the minimum, the smallest value is 1. So you can create class intervals like 1 to 11, 11 to 21, 21 to 31, and so on, till you create the class interval to include 47. So it will be 41 to 51. The last class interval will be 41 to 51. Or you can even start from 0, 0 to 10, 10 to 20. Both are correct. The smallest value is 1. So the first class interval should hold the value 1. So you can start with 0 to 11. Or you can also make 0 to 10. So let me just take 0 to 10 as the class intervals. So I think the data is about the marks of the students. So class intervals is about the marks of students. Okay. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. The highest value is 48. So this is enough. 40 to 50 will include the highest value, 48. So we have created 5 class intervals. Then you'll have to make the tally marks. Yeah, do this, children. Do this one. Are you all working on it?
Yes,
Okay. Done, children? Yes, Danya, what is the frequency for the first class interval?
Six, ma'am.
Okay. Second one?
9, ma'am.
No. Tanishka?
11, ma'am.
How much?
11, ma'am.
Correct. The third one? Arjun, Srijana? For the third one? Yes.
5, ma'am.
Correct. Tell me for the fourth and fifth once you finish. Yeah, children.
Ma'am, 4 for the next one, ma'am.
Very good.
Very good.
Correct. 4 is correct.
Four, ma'am.
4 again, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. These are the frequencies. So tally marks with you would have filled the tally marks. I haven't shown it here. You will have the tally marks in your book. So these are the frequencies. So this is what is the frequency distribution table. So the raw data, we see the raw data. We have a collection of 30 numbers in the question. Raw data is the collection of 30 numbers given in the question. Each number represents the marks scored by the 30 students in a class test. So first is we had to arrange the data in the ascending order, which you can do it, and present it present it in the form of a table using exclusive class intervals. Exclusive meaning continuous class intervals. So we are done with that. Now for the same data, we need to present it in the form of an inclusive table. That is using inclusive class intervals or discontinuous class intervals. Inclusive or discontinuous class intervals. See, this is not the table heading. The table heading will be, this is not the table heading, children. The table heading will be frequency distribution showing the marks scored by 30 students. This is the table heading. Children, what I've written here is not the table heading, children. This is not the table heading. The table heading will be frequency distribution showing the marks scored by 30 students in a class test. In a class test. This is the heading. Same thing here. Frequency distribution showing the marks scored by 30 students in a class test. In a class test. This is the heading, table heading. And then the table below. Class intervals or marks, tally marks, and frequency. Or number of students. Frequency here is the number of students. Frequency here is the number of students. Here also frequency means number of students. This is number of students. All right. So here you can say like this, children, say here 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, or you can say 1 to say 1 to 10, 11 to 20. It should not be continuous. That's all. It should not be continuous. 21 to 30. You can choose any one of the two. See, here the class width is not given. The class width is not specified. Okay. The class width is not specified. See, when you construct or when you create class intervals, you must not have too many class intervals. See, now we have 30 numbers in the question. For these 30 numbers, you should not create 15 class intervals. That's too much for 30 numbers. The data has 30 numbers. For these to accommodate these 30 numbers, to accommodate these 30 numbers, about 5 to 6 class intervals are enough. So you shouldn't make some 15 class intervals or 10 class intervals for this. It will be too much for 30 values. So it depends on the range, like it depends how vast the data is. Depending on that, so when the data is vast, you'll have more class intervals. So you can go with any one of the two. You can say 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, or you can make 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, and so on. All right. So 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. We have, what's the last number, children? I forgot. 48. Yeah. You can do this. 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49. Or you can also do You can also do You can write the heading like this also: marks, tally marks, and number of students. You can also give the heading like this: number of students. Number of students. So what did we do here? 0 to 10, is it? 0 to 9, what did we do? 0 to 9. So you can also do 1 to 10. Eleven to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. Yeah, now tell me this one. You can do it by yourself, children. This one. This you do it by yourself, 0 to 9, 10 to 19. You do this by yourself. Now tell me for this. Tell me the frequency. If you take the class intervals like this. Ready, children? Ready with the answer?
One.
Yeah, done, children? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, for 1 to 10, it's 6, ma'am.
No.
7, ma'am.
7. Correct. Next.
8,
11,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No.
11, ma'am.
No.
8, ma'am.
No. See, 10 is 10 included in 1 to 10?
No, ma'am.
Who said no? In the class interval 1 to 10, both 1 and 10 are included. Then where will you put 10? The next one is 11 to 20. How will you put 10 in this one? These are not continuous class intervals. They are not continuous. 1 to 10. The next one is 11 to 20. So both 1 and 10 belong to the same class interval. 1, of course, will belong to this one. The upper limit 10 also belongs to the same class interval. If you don't put 10 here, then where will you take it? This is 11 to 20. So in 11 to 20, you can include 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the 20. That's why inclusive. The upper limit is also included in the same class interval. Please check and tell me the correct answers. I'll wait.
9, ma'am.
I have a different answer. What about the boys, Srijana and Arjun? No, children, it's not worth spending so much time on this answer. Oh my God, I'll tell you, see here. 40 belongs to this one. 12 goes here. 46 here. 37, 17, 27. 37, 17, 27. 36, 2. 36, 2. 23, 19, 39. 23, 19, 39. 25, 5, 33. 25, 5, 33. 19, 21, 12. 19, 21, 12. 41, 17, 19. 41, 17, 19. 17, 12, 8. 17, 17. So 12, so again 12, 8, 8. 10, 1, 9. 10, 1, 9. 21, 13, 48. 21, 13, 48. 21, 21, 13. So another tally mark here. And 48, 48 here. So I'm getting 7, 5 plus 5, 10 plus 1, 11. Oh, 21 I shouldn't have put here. Sorry. 21 will come here, sorry. 21, the last number. 21, 13 and 48, no? So 21 by mistake, I put it here, sorry. 13 and 48, 13. Yeah, and 48, I put it here. Yeah, correct, sorry. Here alone I went wrong. 21 will not come here. Yeah, so I'm getting 7, 10, 6, 4 and 3. Take it down, children. These are the correct values. Take it down. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're not well, Danya? You seem to have a bad cold, or I don't know if your voice sounds different to me today.
Ma'am, I'm having cold, ma'am.
Take care. Now, next I'm doing the 6th one, children. You can see this question. The weights in grams of 50 apples picked at random from a consignment are as follows. Can you see that question in your book? So we're going to answer that. So in the question, the class width is given as 20 grams. And the first class interval should be 70 grams. And nothing is given, that is, they have not mentioned if you have to make inclusive or exclusive class intervals. So if nothing is mentioned, it should always be continuous. If nothing is mentioned, the class intervals should always be continuous. If they ask you to take class intervals which are not continuous, then you should do that. If nothing is mentioned, the class intervals should be continuous. Now, to construct the class intervals, they are given you some, standing instructions. The class width should be 20 grams. And the mid value of the first class interval. The mid value of the first class interval should be 70 grams. The mid value of the first class interval should be 70 grams. Now let the first class interval, be, one minute, let the lower limit, let me write it separately. Let the lower limit of the first class interval be A. Therefore, the upper limit the upper limit of the first class interval. The upper limit of the first class interval will be a plus 20 because the class width is 20, no? The class width is 20. So the upper limit will be a plus 20. Now, how do you find the class? Now, what is given class width? Class width or the class size is given to be 20. How do we find the class size? The lower limit plus the upper limit by 2. Class width, how do you find? Lower limit plus upper limit by 2 is equal to 20. See, that's a formula. Class width or size. Class width or class size is equal to lower limit of the class interval plus the upper limit of the class interval by 2. Lower class limit plus upper class limit by 2. So A is the lower class limit. A plus 20 is the upper class limit by 2 is equal to the class width, which is 20. So you get 2A plus 20 is equal to 40. A is equal to, oh my God, what is the, oh, the class, the mid value is 70. I'm sorry, I went wrong in writing. Mid value of the, one second. Sorry, children, I just messed up the terms, sorry. I'll repeat it. Somebody's mic is enabled. Please disable your mic. One 140, what will be now? Okay, children. So see here, you can make a note of this. The class size or the class width is equal to the upper class limit minus the lower class limit. The class size or the class width is the upper class limit minus the lower class limit. Now let's take the case of continuous class intervals, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So when the class intervals are continuous, so here the class size of the class interval 10 to 20, is the class size of the class interval 10 to 20 is the upper limit 20 minus the lower limit 10, which is 10. But if you take class intervals which are not continuous, now for example, 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, and so on. The class size of the class interval 10 to 19 is 19 minus 10 plus 1, which is 9 plus 1, 10. 9 plus 1, which is 10, which is equal to 10. So just remember, class size is upper limit minus lower limit. The upper class limit minus the lower class limit is the class size or the class width. If it is continuous, simply subtract like this. If it is not continuous, then it is the upper limit minus the lower limit. That is the upper class limit minus the lower class limit plus 1. So 9 plus 1, 10. Why? Use your fingers in 10 to 19. In the class interval 10 to 19, how many integers are there in 10 to 19? 10, 11, because 10 is also included there. 19 also is included in 10 to 19. So count using your fingers 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 10 values are there. The class size is 10. You count using your fingers 20 to 29. 20 to 29. Now 29 also belongs to the same class interval because the class intervals are not continuous. Both 20 and 29 belong to the same class interval. So count the integers which this class interval holds: 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 10 values. So it is 29 minus 20 plus 1 if it is not continuous. If it is continuous, simply subtract the upper limit and the lower limit. Continuous, simply subtract. Not continuous, subtract and add 1. Make a note of this, children. This is about the class size or the class width. Is it understood, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please make a note of this. Done, children?
Completed, ma'am.
Yeah. Boys? Okay, no response. Now coming to the mid value of a class interval. Mid value of a class interval, also called the class mark. Class mark is nothing but the mid value or the midpoint of a class interval is given by upper class limit, or you can write lower class limit, anything first. Upper class limit plus the lower class limit plus the lower class limit divided by 2 is the mid value. If you want to find the mid value of a class interval, it's all mid value is also called the class mark. Okay, so class mark is upper class limit plus the lower class limit by 2. Make a note of this. Done, children?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now coming back to the question. So you can see that the class width, the class size is given to be 20 grams and the mid value of the first class interval is 70. The mid value of the first class interval is 70. So we don't know the first class interval. So let the lower limit of the first class interval be A. Then what will be the upper limit? Since the size is 20, the upper limit will be A plus 20. The lower limit plus 20. Now the mid value is given to be 70, but how will you find the mid value? Lower limit plus the upper limit by 2 is equal to the mid value. So on solving this, you get A is 60. So what is the first class interval then? A to A plus 20. So what is the upper limit of the first class interval? What is the upper limit of the class interval, children? The lower limit A is 60. What's the upper limit?
80, ma'am.
80. A plus 20. So 60 plus 20, 80 is the upper class limit. So it's given that you should take that as the first class interval. Finish this.
Yes, ma'am.
Completed, ma'am.
Very good. Now complete this table, children. So using the specifications given in the question, we identified the first class interval. Two things were given. The size was given 20 grams and the mid value of the first class interval must be 70. So how do you find the mid value? The lower limit plus the upper limit by 2 is equal to the mid value 70. Lower limit is A. The upper limit will be A plus 20 because the size is 20, no? So A plus 20. So lower limit plus upper limit by 2, which is the mid value or the class mark, is equal to 70. On working that, you get A 60. So now you can say weight in grams, tally marks. You must write the heading, children. You know what to write. The table should always be given a heading, and you know the heading. You know how to write the heading, so I'm not writing that. Tally marks and frequency. Frequency is the number of apples here. So what's the first class interval, children? What is the first class interval? Yes, please tell me quickly. See here, what is the first class interval? No idea? Okay, no response. So 60 to 80 is the
70 to
first.
80, ma'am.
No, 60 to 80 because A is the lower limit, right? So A is 60 and the upper limit is A plus 20. So 60 plus 20, 80. A is the lower limit and A plus 20 is the upper limit. So 60 to 80. So what will be the next class interval?
80 to 100, ma'am.
80 to 100. Then 100 to 120. 120 to 140. 160. 140 to 160. So you must go on. You should find the range. Only then you will make out the smallest value and the greatest value. Complete this, children. I don't know the last, class interval. Yes, make the frequency distribution, children. I'll come back in 5 minutes. Please do this. Done, children? Are you ready with the frequencies?
Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Completed, ma'am.
Yes, Danya. Tell me the frequencies. Okay, Danya, first tell me this one. Which is the last class interval?
220, ma'am.
No, when I ask you which is the last class interval, you must say like 80 to 100, 100 to 120, like that.
200 to 220.
200 to 220 is the last class interval. Which is the lower limit of the last class interval?
200, ma'am.
And the upper limit?
220.
Correct. Now tell me the frequencies.
For 60 to 80, it is 5, ma'am.
Now just read out the numbers. 5, then after that 5.
5, 13, 17, 10, 1, 3, 1.
Oh, so you did not write you missed one free class interval in the middle, is it?
No, ma'am. 5, 13, 17, 10, 1, 0, 3, 1.
Correct. See if I'm right. Oh, I wrote 5 here. Sorry. 1 minute. Yeah. So Danya, you were right. These are the correct frequencies. What about the others? Tanishka, Arjun, and Srijana got the same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Read out a few numbers in the next question.
370, 290, 380.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, even I'm with that question only now. Yes. So children, you can do that by yourself. Let that be a test now. Now the question is form a cumulative frequency table. You can see that CUM, that is cumulative. So the question is form a cumulative frequency table. Form a cumulative frequency table. All right, so form a cumulative frequency table with class intervals of length 15. That means, so class intervals of length meaning the class size or the class width. So you must take the class size or the class width as 50. So tell me, I'll just get you started and then leave it to you as a test. Tell me the range. What is the maximum value? What's the minimum value?
Maximum value is 460, ma'am.
Okay, the minimum value.
One fifty.
154, ma'am.
154. All right. So assuming this is right, so the range is 306. This is correct. 306.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the class, the length of the class interval should be 50. So the lower limit of the first class interval, we'll take this 150. We'll take the lower limit of the first class interval as 150. Because our smallest value is 154. So we'll take the lower limit of our first class interval as 150. So it'll be 152. The length of the class interval should be 50.
200, ma'am.
200, 150 to 200. Because it is given that the length of the class interval should be 50. And why do we start from 150? Because the smallest value is 154. So we'll start from the lowest or the closest value to 154, which is 150. So 150 to 200, 200 to 250, go on like that. And construct the table having the three columns, in fact, class interval, tally marks, and frequency. Make another column, children, cumulative frequency. I'll tell you how to do that. So this is what you should be doing now. After writing the range, make a table in which the first column is class intervals, second column tally marks, third column frequency, fourth column cumulative frequency, because you'll have to make a cumulative frequency table. Cumulative frequency table. So just have one more column extra. Yeah. So cumulative frequency column, we'll fill it together, complete the rest.
Completed, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. Which is the last class interval? Danya?
500, ma'am.
No. Which is the last class interval?
450 to 500, ma'am.
Very good. 450 to 500. Yes. Correct. Yes, Danya, what are the frequencies?
5, 3, 5, 6, 8, 7, 1.
Perfect. So if the table has only these three columns, class intervals, tally marks, and frequencies, it's called the frequency distribution table. If your table has only these three columns, class intervals, tally marks, and frequency, then it is the frequency distribution table. If you have to prepare a cumulative frequency distribution table, then it should have one more column called the cumulative frequency. So here in this question, we'll have to form a cumulative frequency table. So just have this column extra, the fourth column as the cumulative frequency column. Now, how do you find the cumulative frequencies? Write the first frequency as it is. Write the first frequency as it is. Now, 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 6, 19. 19 plus 8, 27. 27 plus 7, 34. 34 plus 1, 35. And the last cumulative frequency should be equal to the total of the frequency column. The total of the frequency column is 35. I think it is about 35 students, no? The marks scored by 35 students. So the total of the frequency column will be 35, and that will be the last cumulative frequency. Now I'll show you without these arrows. All right, children, write the first frequency as it is. Then 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 6, 19. 19 plus 8, 27. Oh, is it 27? Yes. 27, right? 19 plus 8. Then 27 plus 7, 34. 34 plus 1, 35. The last cumulative frequency should be equal to the total of the frequency column. Got this, children? Please complete this one. Done, children? Is it over?
Completed, ma'am.
All right. Now look at that question which has these numbers. Yeah, these numbers 220, 268, 258. I'm talking about that question. So there we'll have to construct FDT, that means frequency distribution table. construct FDT, frequency distribution table, using equal class intervals, one of them being 270 to 290. 290 not included. So 290 should not be included. The upper limit 290. The upper limit 290 should not be included in 270 to 290. That means you must make continuous class intervals. That means you must make continuous class intervals. Only if you make continuous class intervals, the upper limit 290 will not be included there. It will be included in the lower limit of the next class interval. Construct a frequency distribution table using equal class intervals, one of them being, not the first one, one of them being 270 to 290 and 290 not included. The upper limit 290 is not included in 270 to 290. So it will be included in the next one, 290 to 310. 290 to 310. That means you must make continuous class intervals. So here we do not know the first class interval. For that, you'll have to find the range. And you also do not know the last class interval, which again the range will tell you. Do this, children. Are we done, children?
Completed, ma'am.
All right. So what is your first class interval, Danya?
2:10 to 2:31.
Very good. And what is your last class interval?
3:10 to 3:30.
Very good. Now you will have the tally marks column. I'm not filling in that. Tell me the frequencies.
4, 4, 6, 3, 6, 5, ma'am.
6365. Huh? I have 445375. Please check. 44535. All right, children. So you can check this later. So I hope you all understood the situation. One of the class intervals should be 270 to 290. And 290 should not be included in this class interval. That means if the upper limit should not be included in the same class interval, that means you must make continuous class intervals. And then when you find the range, you will be able to identify the first class interval and the last class interval. All right, now do the next one, children. I think the numbers are 40, 50, 60, 65, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please try that one. We have done a similar one earlier. Let the lower limit be A, the upper limit be something. So same type, you can refer to that answer to do this. Done, children?
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Completed.
Yeah. Tell me, Tanishka. What is the first class interval?
30 to 40, ma'am.
30 to 40. Okay, how have you, tell me the working. Let the lower limit of the
1 minute.
why 1 minute? You've already finished, no?
Yes, ma'am. Lower
Yeah.
limit is 30, ma'am.
No, no. Share the working, I said. How have you found that?
Given, ma'am.
Where is it given? It's not given, no? That was not given. You're given, you must construct class intervals of equal width of 10 grams. And the mid value of the fourth class interval is 65 grams. So how do you know that the first class interval is 30 to 40?
Ma'am, let the
Yeah.
lower limit be A, ma'am.
Of which class interval? Let the lower limit of which class interval be A?
First class interval.
But the mid value of the fourth class interval is given, no? 65 grams.
Fourth class interval.
So let the lower limit of the fourth class
class.
interval be A. Therefore, the upper limit
Is equal.
of the fourth class interval. Fourth class interval will be how much? What is the class size? 10 grams. So what will be
A
the
plus
upper limit?
10.
A plus 10. Now the mid value of the fourth class interval is equal to how much, Danya?
Upper limit plus lower limit
No.
by
No.
A.
How much is the mid value of the fourth class interval given?
Ma'am, I got A is equal to 60.
No, Danya. What is the value given? What is the mid value of the fourth class interval given in the question?
A plus 10 by 2.
Is equal to how much?
65, ma'am. Sorry.
That's what I asked you. Yeah. What is the mid value of the fourth class interval? So that mid value is 65. You should write like this. Mid value of the fourth class interval is equal to 65. Now under this, how do you find the mid value? Lower limit A plus the upper limit A plus 10 by 2. This is how you find the mid value, and that is equal to 65. This is how you work it. So 2a plus 10 is equal to 130. 2a is equal to 120. A is equal to 60. So the lower limit of the fourth class interval is 60. So the upper limit will be 70. 60 plus 10, 70. Fourth class interval, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is 60 to 70. And you would have found the class mark. You would have found the range, the lower limit and the upper limit. So using that, you should identify from where to start, from which class interval to start, and from where to end. Now, since this is the fourth class interval, so you will have the 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, and 1. So this is 60 to 70. So this will be 50 to 60. So this will be 40 to 50 and 30 to 40. 70 to 80, 80 to 90. What is the last class interval, Danya?
110 to 120, ma'am.
Okay, 110 to 120. You got the same thing, Tanishka?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, yeah. So now, Tanishka, the frequencies. Tell me the first 4 frequencies, Tanishka.
2, 5, 2, 4, ma'am.
No. Danya?
Ma'am, actually, I just wrote the class interval wrong, ma'am. I didn't mention the fourth class interval in the question, ma'am. So I got confused.
Okay, fine, fine. I'll give you time. Find out now then. Correct it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. If you have any questions, ask me, Danya. Am I clear or you want me to explain that again?
Yes, ma'am. You are clear, ma'am. I just didn't
You
write
didn't
that
notice
fourth
that.
class.
Okay. Okay, fine, fine. I'll just wait for 5 more minutes. Complete it. Both of you. Tanishka, your frequencies are wrong. You can just check again. Yeah. Is it ready now? I'm waiting for the answers, children. I'm waiting for the frequencies.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I need to complete 2 more sums, children, in this class.
Completed.
Yeah, tell me the frequencies, Tanishkar.
3, 6, 3, 5, 9, 4, 2, 4, 1.
No. Not all are right. Some of them were correct. Okay, I'll leave this to you. Okay, you complete this and we'll see the frequencies in the next class. Now the next one. Let's do the 13th one. Form a discrete. Discrete meaning ungrouped. Ungrouped meaning without class intervals. Discrete, discrete or ungrouped. Discrete frequency table or distribution. Discrete frequency distribution or ungrouped, ungrouped frequency distribution means without class intervals. Without class intervals. It means with not using class intervals, okay? Without class intervals. That is not using class intervals. You should make a frequency distribution. You should make a frequency distribution not using the class intervals. That is what is meant by discrete or ungrouped. Discrete or ungrouped means you should not use class intervals. So in the 13th one, you should not use class intervals. So the first column will not be class intervals. So what is given frequency distribution from the following scores? So you should write scores as the first column. Tally marks, second column. And frequency, third column is frequency. Tally marks frequency is the same, but the first column will not be class intervals. It will be scores. And what are the different scores you have? There are some numbers there. What are the different scores you have? The first score is 15, then you have 18, 16, 20, 25, 24. So which is the lowest score there? Write out all the scores once in the ascending order, children. That's what it is. You must write out all the scores once in the ascending order. Yeah, which is the smallest score? Smallest score, children? Okay, since I'm not getting any response, I'm just going to write it myself. The smallest score is 15. Then we also have a score 16. We don't have 17 in the data. In the data, there is no score 17. So we'll not write 17. Then we have 18 in the data. We don't have 19. You don't find the score 19 in the data, so don't write it. Then there is 20. 21, 22, 23 is not there. 21, 22, 23 is not there, so don't write it. Then there is 24. In the data, there is 24. There is also 25. But 26 we don't see, so don't write it. Then there is 27. Then there is 28 also. There is 29. We can see 29. And there is 30 also. There is 30. Now use the tally marks and complete this table. So do this. We'll see the answers in the next class. I've given you the first column. So this is how you prepare a discrete frequency table or a discrete frequency distribution, not using class intervals, meaning ungrouped. So simply write out all the scores once in the ascending order. Write out all the scores once in the ascending order like this. Then use tally marks and fill the frequency column. So we'll see the frequencies in the next class. Now I'll do one more and we'll wind up the session for today.
Ma'am, actually you didn't send this question, ma'am.
Did it take this long to say, Danya?
Ma'am, I was actually searching whether I didn't write or you didn't send.
Oh, sorry. Okay, now I'll send it now in the group. I'm sorry if I did not send it. I'm sending it now in the group. All right, there's no time to write the question now, children, but just look at the question. I've shared it in the group. Found the question, Danya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the question is, form a discrete or ungrouped frequency distribution from the following scores. So you should not use class intervals because ungrouped, discrete. So you should not use class intervals. So the first column is scores, then tally marks and frequency. And these are the scores you have in the data, 15, 16, 18, 20, 24, and so on. These are the scores you have in the data. So you must write those scores once in the ascending order. If a score is not there, don't write it. 19 is not there, so don't write it. Whatever scores you find in the data, you should write all that in the ascending order once. Then tally marks and frequency. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so just make a note, write down this table in your book, or maybe you have to copy the question. So take a screenshot. You can copy the question and then make the table. Take a screenshot of this one.
Second.
Yeah. Yeah, I've sent another question in the group. Please see that and tell me the range of the data. Tell me the range.
Ma'am, range is 28, ma'am.
28. So which is the smallest value, Danya?
10, ma'am.
Okay, and the largest value?
38.
38. Very good. So the range is 28. Now the heading is form a grouped frequency distribution. So you should use class intervals. Grouped meaning class intervals. Ungrouped should not use class intervals. So form a grouped frequency distribution by inclusive method. Inclusive means both the values. The upper limit should be included in the same class interval. Inclusive meaning the upper limit should be included in the same class interval. By inclusive method, taking 4 as the magnitude of the class intervals. You must take 4 as the magnitude of the class intervals. That means the class size or the class width should be 4. So let's try that. Class intervals, tally marks, frequency. Now see the conditions. You should use class intervals. Okay. The class size should be 4. Okay. And the upper limit should be included in the same class interval. Inclusive method, meaning the upper limit should be included in the same class interval. Now the minimum value is 10. So see here, the class, what is the class size given? 4, right? So 10, 11, 12, 13. This makes 4 values. So here the class size is 4. So 10 to 13. 10 to 13 is the first class interval. The next class interval should not start with 13, but it should start with 14. 10 to 13 is the first class interval. 10 because the minimum value is 10. So we start with 10. 10 to the class size is 4. So there should be 4 integers included in the class interval. 10, 11, 12 and 13. So 10 to 13. 13 is also included in the same class interval. It should be included in the same class interval. That's the condition given. So that means the next class interval should not start with 13, but should start with 14. So what happens when you don't make it continuous? The upper limit is included in the same class interval. Now 14, 2. You can see what's the difference here? 13 minus 10, 3. No, so just add 3, 17. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now then what will it be? You should not start with 17. You should start with 18. 18 to add 3.
21.
21. Then don't start with 21. 22 to
26, ma'am.
no. That's what it is. When it is inclusive, the class size will be 4, but the difference will be only 3. See here, 10 to 13. The 4 numbers are 10, 11, 12 and 13. But when you subtract 13 and 10, you will get only 3. You will not get 4. I told you, how do you find the class size when it is not continuous? Subtract and add 1. 13 minus 10 plus 1. 3 plus 1, 4. So you can see the difference in the class intervals is only 3. 10 plus 3, 13. 14 plus 3, 17. 18 plus 3, 21. 22 plus 3, 25. What's the next one? 20? 20?
26, ma'am.
26 to Add 3.
29, ma'am.
29. Okay, I'll write the remaining class intervals here. Then after that, 20, after 29, 32,
33.
33. Then 30,
4 to 37, ma'am.
44 to 37. Then do you need some more class intervals, or is it enough? Do you need some more class intervals, or is it enough? What's the highest value? 38. Can you include 38 and 34 to 37? No, you cannot include. So we need to take one more class interval, 38 to 41. So when you take the difference, it is 3, 10 to 13. The difference is 3, 13 minus 10, 3, 17 minus 14, 3, 21 minus 18, 3. The difference is 3. But since the upper limit is also included in the same class interval, the class size is 4. Because what is class size? The number of integral values a class interval holds. What is class size? The number of integral values a class interval holds. So if you take the class interval 14 to 17, the integers included in this class interval are 14, 15, 16 and 17. So you are able to include 4 numbers in the class interval 14 to 17. And hence the class size is 4, not 3. When you subtract, you get 3. I have told you, for inclusive class intervals, subtract and add 1 to get the class size. All right, children. So you should complete these 3. I think for including this 3 sums, we have only prepared the class intervals. We have still to find the frequencies. So please complete this. We'll see the answer in the next class. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you need to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. Yeah. All right. Danya, Tanishka and Arjun, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for cooperating with this time. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. You may leave the call. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, children. Good night.